terrible at protocols. So I'm just gonna say hi. My name is Abella Bateyunga and I'm from Tanzania. I don't know how many of you guys have been to Tanzania. Oh, this is really cool. So for those who have not been to Tanzania, let me just run you quickly in a minute. It's a land of Kilimanjaro, the Maasai tribe, the land of Swahili. Our founding father, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, is one of the founding fathers and the giants of Africa. Tanzania stands with 50 million people. Of course, the biggest of them are the young people. Tanzania is the home of close to 18 national parks. You've heard of the Serengeti. This is one of many. Tanzania is the home of the beautiful Zanzibar. How many of you guys have been to Zanzibar? I know, it's beautiful, right? I love the smile when you think of Zanzibar. It's that beautiful. Tanzania brings a lot. Tanzania has been a country that, during the liberation of African countries and independence, we were a house of peace where liberation struggles in Africa would come and hide in Tanzania. We have hosted the great Nelson Mandela, we've hosted Samuel Misheri, and the many African heroes. I am proud of the country. Tanzania has a lot of natural resources. Tanzania is said to have, I think it's the third country that provides the fresh waters in the world. We are surrounded by waters. Tanzania has all the minerals. I think, not that we don't have oil, I think we haven't found oil. You know, I mean, think of diamond, gold, copper, iron. We have Tanzanite. Tanzanite is only from Tanzania. I can go on and on and on to tell you what Tanzania has to offer, but it's amazing. But it's the same Tanzania that last year ranked 6th or 4th last in the World Happiness Index. And then you wonder what is happening. Right now, the situation in the country is there's so much fear and terror because the democracy in the country is shrinking by a minute. Then you wonder what is happening. The level of poverty among the people and the level of despair among the young people in the country, you wonder what is happening. 3 years ago, I was in the hospital with my sister, and she's our firstborn, and this was the first birth in the family, and she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, only that she died 3 hours later, and I was holding her in my hand, and you wonder what is going on. I'm not here to tell sad stories. I'm here to say that what I do is not because me and my team want to be famous. It's not because we want to be rich. It's because it has to be done. And we're looking around saying, what is to be done? Because seriously, I've been looking around looking for someone to do it, and I realized that no one was coming. I grew up a very timid girl. I was really timid, I promise I was. Until one day a friend of mine told me that fear is a luxury I cannot afford. And then it hit me so hard to know that it's not an option I can take not to be courageous and to stand up and to do things for my community. So that's my team right there. So as I'm standing, I'm representing those crazy people right there. It's a team of 45 up to now. For the span of the 4 years now, we've done things that sometimes I don't think we've been sleeping very well. Because we are quite ambitious and we keep going. And we keep doing it. And honestly, Neil, when you call me and you say we are giving an award, I'm like, huh? Because for us, we are doing what has to be done. I really thought in life those people who are receiving an award is because they've done great things. And I'm realizing that if I can receive an award, then all of us here can receive an award if we just choose to service our community. Because one of the saying that really struck my chord sometimes back, it says, don't make me extraordinary to get yourself off the hook. Mm-hmm. And that really, really struck a chord in me to say, the people that we celebrate, are the people that have seen the problem and they look around and they say, if I cannot stand, then it cannot be done. And so I think I'm standing here representing my team. We are thanking you, we are excited that we are seen, and I'll give you a little bit of what do we do, but allow me to give you a very personal story of what we do, so that maybe you can see what Tanzania Bora does. So I run a youth NGO called Tanzania Bora. Okay, a very random, it's so strange to see myself there. Sorry, it's a very random. My mind is that random. I run a youth NGO called Tanzania Bora Initiative. Tanzania Bora means, okay, I need to find a really good translation on that one. Because it sounds like making the country greater, but yeah. We want to make Tanzania great again. And I promise we came up with this in 2015. Just in the record. And why we want to make the country great again? You look around the country, this country that is endowed with national resources, the amount of land and water and the people and the culture, and the unity of, because Tanzania is half Muslim and half Christian, but you never see the religious tension. You all live together as one community. We speak 130 plus tribes, but we are united by Swahili. And then you wonder why there's so much poverty and misery and poor services and corruption. Corruption to the level that it's almost people's right now for you to corrupt them. Sincerely guys, if you go through the whole week, you haven't corrupted anyone, you're like, whew. It's like people are police are demanding you to corrupt them, and you wonder what is going on. And so this is where Tanzania Bora was born. Tanzania Bora Initiative was born because of our frustration, and it was born because of our concern. We are concerned that with the rate of growth of young Tanzanians, with the rate of unemployment, if no one is going to do something about it, then we are going to see a lot of raising of crimes. In America, you're already affected because you remember the bomb blast in American Embassy in Tanzania, and one of them was young Tanzania. Why? Because there was unemployment. I'm not saying he did a good job. I'm not going to stand for that. But what are we going to do about it? That's the question I'm asking. And sometimes you might say, Tanzania is so far off. It's in East Africa. It doesn't concern me. But it does concern you. It does concern you because it's the whole extra violence, extremism that you're seeing. It's all the race of migrant people that you're seeing. So if we do not work together, if Tanzania doesn't concern you, then the global issues will get to you in a way that you won't even be ready to. And so, Neil, as I'm receiving this award, what I want to say is I'm receiving it on behalf of Rehema. Rehema is a young Tanzanian girl who came to my office 4 years ago, and she was at home for 2 years without employment. And she had a master's, and she was extremely frustrated, and her mom was asking her to get married. Because at least that way, she'll earn an income for the community. She's a brilliant, remarkable young woman. 4 years later, she's been able to run a lot of programs in the country, and she wrote a strategy that for the first time this year, Tanzania Bora, with one of our sister companies, She Code for Change, we work with African Union and UN Women, and we ran the first coding camp in Africa. So we went across Tanzania. We've been impacting close to 800 young girls, to now we're impacting African girls. And we are not stopping there. But this is a girl that, if she wasn't guided in the right direction, she was going to get married. And that was her story. I'm representing Mayu. Mayu is a high school dropout. He's an amazing photographer. He's very funny. I think in the other life he's a comedian. But for time now, when he joined us with his photography talent, he didn't know what to do. He was just a high school dropout. And when he came, the first job we did with him was during election in 2015. And Mayu took photography that speak on the youth engagement and civic engagement in Tanzania. He didn't know that just with his camera he can do that. He caused a conversation and dialogue in Tanzania just with his camera. And then he realized that actually his camera is his tool. Right now, 4 years later, Mayu is a cinematographer I don't know if I said that word correctly. And we are getting ready to shoot 4 films next year on women empowerment, on civic engagement of Tanzania, because we are going back to election again. We're going to shoot a film on girls' empowerment in STEM, and my team needed to be here to remind me of the 4th film that we are shooting next year. But he came with a photography at high school dropout into now wanting to shoot film that changed the community. Tanzania Bora is not only just working with the youth in our office of 45 youth, but we are also working with communities. We've up to now run close to 9 projects on counter-violence extremism, on STEM and coding for girls. I'm a lawyer by background, but it always amazes me when I found myself in a class training girls on coding. I feel so cool and I feel so nerdy when I do it, when I speak robotic or animation or gaming and using Scratch and block coding and stuff like that. I feel so intelligent too. Or when we are speaking on, when we're influencing ITU in Africa to start a strategy or to establish a think tank on computational education in Africa, and to actually influence Tanzanian African presidents on creating STEM and ICT as a curriculum in schools, that makes us feel like we're contributing to something. As we're getting ready for 2019 next year and 2020, because in 2015 what we did, we encouraged young people to contribute into a dialogue in civic education, but also we encouraged them to register and vote. But we're realizing that's not enough. So in 2019 and 2020, we are rallying the country and young people to run for office. Because we think until we have them young people in those spaces, until we have people that can speak on our behalf on the issue and on the youth agenda that we are pushing, agenda on education, agenda on unemployment, agenda on diplomatic engagement. I mean, let's expose young Africans to see the world, to get ideas, and to change our community. We are not gonna stop. And I'm gonna start with the beginning and I'm gonna stop with the beginning and the end. Tanzania Bora was formed here in Virginia, and for me, this is where it all started in 2014, when I was a Yali Fellow, Young African Leadership with Mandela. Though it turned to be Mandela Fellow with Lulu there, and we were here for 6 weeks, and Neil and the team almost killed us, literally, with stew. And they made us rethink our strategy and our engagement in the community, and we all left here with the strategy of what we're committing to go do back in our country. I went home, I registered Tanzania Bora, but I did not know what I was signing for. I was giving Jim as a professor or mentor. With all this help, later on, this zeal and the strategy that we wrote here turned into an organization, and right now it is turning into employing 45 Tanzanian youth and touching communities across the country. Not only do I want to thank Presidential, that's another thing, I cannot say this word. Precinct. I tried. For 4 years I tried. Not only do I want to thank you, Neil, I thank you for trusting the young leaders. I know it's a whole Yali program, but I don't think Yali is effective if we have leaders like you, because I've seen you individually and your entire team, Drew, Stu, I saw, I know Brian is not here. You guys became more than family. It wasn't a program. It was a camp, and it was a leadership academy. It was raising giants, not only of Africa, because now I know you're going into Europe. I really think the world is going to be a better place because Presidential Precinct, did I get it right? Exists. Now, I think the challenge is to every one of us is don't stop believing in young people. That is number one. Partner with us. That is number two. Because right now, 4 years down the line, I just don't want to sit here and tell you guys all the good news. The thing we are doing with community of artists. So those are the 5 organizations I'm running. Tanzania Bora is the youth NGO, and then Kijana Voice, Kijana means youth, Kijana Voice is a media, and we have a dream to grow our biggest media station of quality content against misinformation that is going on and fake news that is happening in the country. We are planning to influence women and girls to take STEM and to create innovative solutions. We are planning to create a generation of resilience community of entrepreneurs in Tanzania, because we realize only civic engagement while they're going home and sleeping hungry is not helping. And that's why you educate them, and then come election period, they selling their vote is for $5,000, if they can even get five, if it's not a pair of kanga sometimes. So we're like, what if we just empower youth and economically empower them? And then eventually we're working with artists. Now that's the part that really gets me. Dance and fashion and music, because young people listen, but they listen in different platforms. They listen through music, through fashion, through dance, through dramas, through film, and this is what the platform we are using. And the top of all that, we have to make young people credible, and so we are using data. Because one thing is, for us to speak and to be heard, data has to be used, and so we are championing data for citizen engagement. I don't want to talk too much because I'm quite passionate with what I do, and I might bore you guys with many things I do. But for me, as I'm receiving this award, it's not for me, it's for the entire Tanzanian youth behind me. I want to say thank you very much. And I don't think I will stop being an alumna that give back to the precinct. Yes. And not only to UVA, but also to just my country and Africa. So thank you very much.